Welcome back, everyone, for the 2020 Majestic. Taking place at Blue Ribbon Pines, we are moving into the back half of round number 1. And we've got a great card. Nikko Locastro, along with Terry Rothlisberger, Austin Hannum of Team Discraft, as well as Terry, and Minnesota's own Noah Meintsma. The stage has been set. We're about halfway through the round, and this wouldn't be possible without all of those supporters and more. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk about them as we move in. But first, we're going to go over to hole number 14. Pretty straightforward. A little bit of stuff to stay clear of. This hole coming in as one of the easier holes on the course. 253 feet. Plays slightly uphill. Has a little bit of a bowl area where it collects at the end. And Terry Rothlisberger seemingly yanking over on that one just a little bit. This is Austin Hannum.
That was banned.
Oh my god.
Good try.
Oh.
Wow. Trying to kick off the back half in style. Nice shot by Austin. Nikko, who finds himself at 2 under. Also with a really good shot. Asking for it to get all the way there.
Get in the basket. Get it.
These guys are out here hunting for aces. Terry feels left out of the party. Again, 24th most difficult hole, average 2.73. 37% of the open field birdieing this during the opening round of the event. So this is what many would consider kind of a must-get birdie. Nikko's in. Austin for the cleanup along with Noah. Trying to see if there was a mark on the basket possibly. And Terry will have the lone par, losing a stroke to his card mates. As we're going to move over to hole number 15. This has a gentle bend from left to right. You'll see it's a really good looking forehand shot. One of the most unique components of this hole, though, or maybe some would say of the entire course. This features a hanging basket. So slightly elevated, no pole attached to it, and it hangs down from a tree. Austin going just deep of the pin. And this does come in just a little off the pace of what we saw hole number 14. This comes in as the 23rd most difficult. I think you see a few more over par strokes simply because it's so much easier to kind of go back and forth anytime you're putting upward at a basket. Noah trying to get it as close as possible. So 3 really solid forehand shots. Terry's trying to make a 4. And 1, that would be an incredible skip ace of all holes to an elevated pin like this.
Aw, come on. God damn it. Twice hit it. Stop putting on the right side. It's so flat.
And Noah feels like he's kind of been all over the pin and just hasn't gotten a few of them to fall. Great birdie by Hannum. Try and make sure the basket remains as still as possible. And we find 13% of the field actually shooting over par on this. And again, I have to attribute that to the possibility of possibly going just back and forth to this elevated pin. Because if you don't draw metal, you're at least left with a 15 to 20 foot comebacker. And at that point, you're getting nervous and thinking about it. Nikko steadies it up.
Yes. Got a birdie. I know. It's either I messed it up or.
Well, Terry did miss out on the star frame on the previous hole. This time they can blame Noah. We'll see how it shakes out. As you take a look at the basket that can kind of blend in when it's mounted up there so high. So we move over. Hole number 16. First you have to get through the initial gauntlet, get over the pond, and then you're looking at this landing zone. So right where you saw the gentleman wave, that's what many would consider kind of the main area to land in. If you get to that point, you're doing pretty well. Stay clean off the tee. Oh, yeah. If those people were still hanging out, they would have just got hit, I think. And speaking of the flyovers, thank you to Par Save Productions, making those possible, sharing those with me. And I hope that you're enjoying their action as well. The Minnesota-based disc golf media company. And really, that's just picture perfect. There's not much I can add to that.
I think we're in trouble with that card. He's got the mustache, the crowd's behind all of them.
Nico's concerned about the mustaches behind him. I'm going to say that sounds like a valid concern. These feature cards were, in a sense, assembled simply by rating. So the top 4 players that you see on the Par Save production card are on the hole before these gentlemen. They were started as the final group of the day. And these are the next 4 highest rated competitors in the tournament. I think that's a yoga pose. Oh no, sit down. And that's just a series of unfortunate events. Not only too tight to hit the tree, but then to take a nasty roll to find the out of bounds on that left side. Austin just with great composure getting up and addressing those. Terry sneaking it in. Excuse me. And speaking of sneaking it in, I'm going to sneak in a plug or two. I can't say enough about everyone that reached out, as there's been so little budget and possibilities for sponsorships and whatnot, but I had individuals and companies reach out to me. Patrick, Wade, Zack, Bobby from Terrace Design, Parsave, Jason, Cale. So many of you guys. Thank each and every one of you and my Patreon subscribers as Nikko cleans up the birdie. None of this coverage would be possible if it weren't for all the people that really reached out to me at the last moment and said, hey, I'd like to support what you have going on. Also, Mark from over at Chasing the Bees, Disc Golf Poetry. Find him on Instagram. It's far more eloquent than anything I could ever say or post. But we move over to hole number 17. This one's a short one, and I've never seen this one in play before. This one's new for me. I'm guessing they've done it probably for a couple years, but at just 220 feet, they play the short grass is the inbounds area. So this is a true island green. So you must be inside the short grass, or at least touching it, I'm assuming, in order to be inbounds. Otherwise, you move directly to a drop zone.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
Terry doesn't like it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, boy. Edit that face out.
asking me to edit that face out, his disgusted Terry face. Yeah, I'd be so mad if I was parked, Terry.
Hey, boy. A little scary, a little scary.
Noah just barely getting it onto the green. He's in bounds, as is Austin, and that sits down.
Edit my face out of that one.
Still talking about his face. Wow, great putt by Noah. 18th most difficult, average 2.93. So very few pars, as you could imagine. There was 46% were below par and 35% above par. Just 20% of the field parring it, which I think if you do some math, that tells you if you got it onto the green, you probably made the putt. Not everybody, but probably.
Yep, we finally got it.
That's a good one. It's a good one to stick on the green.
Oh, Nikko, I'm going to charge you for the advertising. What's going on there? A sinus? Sinus? I don't know. All right, moving on. Hole number 18. One of the more iconic holes that you find in disc golf, simply because you get to unleash a drive, or if maybe you're in that gray zone, you back off a little because you don't want to find yourself in the stream that separates the two fairways. And Nikko putting the hurt on. Cardmates seemed impressed as he clears the 500-foot barrier.
Nope, OB. Be short, baby. Be short.
Either get over or be short. Oh, and it's going to be close. We're going to have to take a look at that. Noah with plenty of power.
Heads up!
Well, and plenty of turn. So they are interfering with the guys on the hole in front of them. And a good-looking pull here by Austin, who also clears it. Oh, no, and Terry literally, just by inches, does not find himself touching any part of the inbounds. Therefore, he is OB. He can bring it back 1 meter from there. Actually, I feel like he could bring it back anywhere on the line of play if he really wanted to, but he didn't need to in this case. Forehand to the pin. 760 total feet, but there's the white staked area. It kind of plays as a pond. It's a little wet and marshy over there. So a number of years ago, they roped it off, and that plays as like an OB pond area. It's this little bean that's right in front of the basket. And Nikko, unfortunately, after such a crushing drive, puts himself OB. And we had to wait for a little while for Noah. And just going over the top of the pin. A little too much power there. Terry's birdie is high. Austin's birdie attempt is wide. This is Nikko for his par. Scoops it up, a little bit of frustration there. This is. I'm going to concur with him on that. Wide open, 270 feet. Should have been a drop in. Especially after such a crushing drive. To then just walk away with a par. And Noah doing a little work. There were 0 eagles on this hole. Possibly no surprise there at 760 feet.
Watch out behind you there. Get the camera.
And we see the par cleanup there by Austin. We're going to move over hole number 19. We're 2/3 of the way through the opening round. And this plays... Well, I was going to say it kind of feels like an island. If you cross the stream, you need to be inside the stakes. Either that or you have to make the conscious decision to just simply lay up in front of the stream. And with great conditions like we have today, not too many people are going to even think about laying up. And
Why doesn't it move?
Noah hung that wide right, and you saw that there was really no skip, and that's something I think all of the competitors have to be thinking about. They really need to put this one on point because you're not going to get a skip into that short grass probably. And that's exactly what just happened to Nikko. Also getting no skip. Now, he's had quite a bit of angle.
Great shot. Thank you.
Hannum loving his shot. He's talking afterwards that was a zone. Says anywhere he can possibly throw one, he will. And I feel like Terry changed up his game plan as well.
Yes. Literally, I saw you do it.
As he said, literally, I saw you do it. That's cute. Teammates. So Noah not able to save the par here. As Nikko steps up, we'll see. Maybe he can get a read or learn something from what we just saw from Noah's shot. And again, there's not much wind to speak of. Well, unless of course they've put in the trick flags I referenced in the front half, which would be hilarious. Nikko's gonna line this up. And walk away with the bogey.
Zone, boys.
And the 2 zones result in 2 birdies as we are through hole number 19. We're going to move over to hole number 20. One of the most open holes on the entire course. Nothing really between you and the basket to contend with. However, depending on the angle that you're coming in, that's when you may actually have to be concerned about these trees. Austin with the honors. Gets the skip up onto the platform, and park job by Austin Hannum. Terry doesn't even want to watch it get close. I think he was referring to his arm, noodle arm. Noah splitting the difference between Terry and Austin's throw. And just getting him to stand up, not quite enough, but just a pure hyzer there by Locastro, putting him on that left side. Terry finds himself in circle 2. Oh, look at that. The confidence.
Poured it in there.
Finally made one.
Beautiful one. Thank you.
It gets kicked at. Ouch. Wow, and Nikko coming back with a great birdie as well. This average just below par of the 3 that it's at, a 2.92. 19% of the field birdieing, but these guys are trying to help the percentages out. I'm going to see another star frame. And we take a brief walk into the woods, then we come over here to hole number 21. Another tunnel shot. And I feel like you notice there's a little theme here, that there's a lot of tunnel shots where if you hit early, you are in a world of hurt, and that is exactly the case here on 21. Then you have this stream to again deal with, where you can find yourself out of bounds there. And this one plays out into the opening, and as always, you're going to have a different set of wind inside this wooded area than you'll have out in the opening, and that's something to always keep in mind.
Stomped it down there. I know you cleared it.
Wow, getting greedy right out of his hand. He's asking for it to get in the hole. Possible double or triple whack there, unfortunately, for Noah. Nikko's going to go back to his forehand.
Gotta get lucky sometimes, dude. It has to happen to everybody.
Nikko trying to play the odds. And if I look at the U-disc numbers, it says that this is the second most difficult hole on the course. And it looks like Austin might understand why there. He doesn't get out at all. In fact, I think he finds the other side of the fairway. And waiting for an indication. Noah appears to be safe. This is Austin now from the left side. He's lining up the overhand and just trying to punch and get out.
I think so.
So after Noah's scramble, he finds himself with this for par. Wind slams it down, he says. This is Austin's fourth. Right, left, right, and long putt results in a bogey. I'm going to guess that's about as hard as you would ever want to work for a bogey. Usually if you take a bogey, you're thinking, man, at least it was a drop in. He had to can a long putt for the bogey. And such a beautiful drive by Terry, but he's going to walk away with a par. Again, just 11% of the field carding birdies here on this hole. Nikko being one of them. Kevin Jones, Ben Kroll, Jake Lauber, James Conrad. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of those birdies all came off the top couple of cards. Very impressive. And the beautiful BRP backdrop, Blue Ribbon Pines, located in East Bethel, just north of the Twin Cities. And I think one of the most beautiful holes that you'll find on the course, maybe in disc golf. Hole 22, 342 feet. The OB swampy pond in front of it with the beautifully mulched green. Nikko with the forehand.
Go! Go! Go!
And the spotter gives us the OB indicator for Nikko. Finds himself out in the middle of the pond. Actually, I think the spotter said he pushed the back side of the pond. And by now, I'm hoping you realize, I think there's a gun range close by, which we've heard very active as Hannum finds himself out of bounds. Here as well, if you find yourself OB, you go to a drop zone, which we'll see in a moment. That one stays safe. Nikko heads to the drop zone. That's a perfect approach. Unfortunately, going to net him a bogey.
So, Buzz?
Yeah.
You did?
Wow, and that is, there's such a great pro tip why I wanted to leave that extra moment in there. As Terry with an awesome birdie. You know, Austin liked the idea of throwing a putt as opposed to kind of an approach shot. He throws the putt, but he throws something with a little more glide to it as opposed to his putter. And so he throws a buzz, and I just think that's a really teachable moment for you guys. That's something to think about. You don't always have to think about, well, my putter is used at this distance, or my driver or my mid is used at that distance. Like, you can mix things up. Get creative with it. And maybe or may not find a disc you could retrieve. He's going to work that pond. Yeah, no fish in that net. All right, hole 23, a par 3. 15th most difficult. This is, I'll say, pretty straightforward. You hit the line, you have a slight right to left fade to finish out the hole. Hopefully it filters down, it plays downhill, so something relatively straight or just with a little bit of stability. And Terry hits the gap. Looks like that was fighting back with some hyzer. Nikko flexing that over. Someone complimenting him, saying that it was a nice shot, and he doesn't think that it is. At this point, Nikko's brother, Jeremiah, has come off the course and has joined us.
Yeah.
Jeremiah's in his first big tournament, and he had a rough finish to his round. Also might got a penalty for playing from the wrong lie, but still a nearly 1,000 rated round for Nikko's little brother. So pretty cool to see him out here joining, and clearly a force to be reckoned with. Noah's struggle continues. He's looking at a bogey. And as we crested the hill, Nikko's brother Jeremiah said, "See, I told you it was a good shot," as Nikko is nearly right next to the pin. He's a lot closer than he thought he was. Yes, holding a sneeze and waiting for Nikko to putt is a good way for me to maybe have an aneurysm, because we all know that I could have been holding it for quite a while. So thankfully, I was able to hold on long enough and not have a problem. We move over to hole 24, just a few left to play. This is the most open hole that we'll see, without danger at least. Another commemorative basket, a purple and yellow Kobe basket, since it's hole number 24. And this really just plays as a big power hyzer. 388 feet.
Kind of went straight though, didn't it?
Not a lot to worry about. Sometimes the wind will blow over your left to right shoulder. But this is just a power shot. A little more finish would have been nice for Nikko there.
Thank you.
Austin getting dialed in. And that's just dropping out of the sky. I thought that was going to finish really hard left of the pin. Drops out of the sky, a little bit light. Here comes the putter. No. Okay, Happy holds off. He might have been letting out a sneeze there as well, though. That's what that sounded like. Noah not loving his putting prowess here today. Oh, another one from Circle 2. This comes in as the 24th most difficult, otherwise known as the 3rd easiest. If I do some math right. And then we head over to hole number 25, coming in as the 21st most difficult, with 32% of our field carding birdies here. All through the woods, pretty straightforward shot, relatively short at 260 feet. There's some stuff in your way though. This is also the area where I talked about earlier when I said you could order food. Now, you saw that on hole 10, and then I think you come back around 13, and then you come back to the same area here on 25. So, multiple times throughout this round, you're able to check in at the shack. Little frustration there by Austin. And Nikko just threading the needle here, making it look so easy. Oh!
Go in! Go in!
Just over the top.
Love you, bud.
So close, guys.
And there's the shack I was talking about. Katrina has caught up with the group as well. She's sitting on an 8-stroke lead going into round number 2. She's pulled herself away from Holly Finley, who sits in second. They played very early in the morning.
Oh my God. Oh, no. It was so bad.
I feel like I need to have a pep talk with Terry. And Noah's low.
About time I actually thought of it.
Keeping his spirits about him. Nikko trying to close out strong here. Just 3 holes left to play here. 25, 26, and 27.
Nice bird. I don't know what happened there, Dan.
Cleans that one up. Again, just there's 32% of the field carding the birdie here. Nikko, one of those 32%. The par 4, hole 26, plays with almost a right angle. You're going to play it out to this area, and then it's going to take a hard left to play to this beautiful elevated green with a 3-tier system to it. Looks absolutely gorgeous. But there's only so much you can really bite off on this initial tee shot. There is OB left. There's also OB right. So you can't just throw it as hard as you want and hope for the best. Terry getting a chuckle out of his errant throw. That worked out well. And that's a great shot by Austin. Maybe a little bit tighter would be good. And here's a shot I've never seen. Nikko walking down the fairway saying he just loved the attempt there by Noah. So Nikko, not quite fully making the bend, decides he's going to get creative. Oh. I don't know if that one was a balk. Nikko holding off. And now at this point, you have to be thinking another distraction's going to come. And it doesn't. And that's very well executed by Locastro. That's really the only way you're going to get to the pin is going up and over from being that far back on the fairway.
That's fine too.
Austin's got to stand still. And he also puts it on the second tier. Trying to close out strong with a birdie. And after a little searching, we find Noah's on that right-hand side. So he's got this left for birdie.
Oh man, these nubs are just having their way with me here. Thought that one was over it, fine, and then the change ring.
Huge props to Noah, who did not have the day on the putting green that I think we'd all expect from him. And he maintained composure very professionally, and I gotta say, I love seeing that. Whether you're a veteran of the game or a younger player, huge props to Noah. And I'm pretty sure that's kind of his mentality throughout. I don't think today was anything special, but great to see that. As Noah's left out of the birdie club. And just one hole left to play, so I'm going to get in some additional thanks. My Patreon subscribers, ParSafe Production for the flyovers that you're seeing right here as this plays to the island green. Bobby from Terrace Web Design. Billy Sage Ashton with the thumbnails and some photos. Zack, Patrick, Wade, all of those guys, along with Blue Ribbon Pines and Ray and Angie. And with Cale and Jason Wilder and the entire staff and crew, just everyone that made this possible, as Nikko's going to lay up. He was checking the UDIS scores and trying to realize where he was going to be, and saw that he'd really put together a pretty decent round here. Terry looking a little too much stability there, as he said. And that's drifting the whole way, unfortunately, for Austin. He's going to be heading to the drop zone. And both the Nova and Noah head to the drop zone. Nikko's got a long putt for birdie. Is that the cake mixer? I'm not sure what move that is. The roller? Cake? I'm going to go with cake mixer. And another stepper. by Terry. That one's going to be for the par. Here's Austin to answer. Just 15% of the field carding birdies here. 50% of the field taking bogey or worse. The third most difficult hole on the course. Oh, there it is. Oh, he's been dialed all day on the green. That's what I've been saying. In all seriousness, thank you to these guys. Thank you to all of the competitors. Thank you to the event staff, the crew, everyone that had anything to do with this tournament. Just thank you guys all so much, along with all the supporters I mentioned. We look forward to seeing you guys during round number 2. Stay tuned. I'm going to bring you some chase card action, and I think you're going to love it. Check out the links and all the information to get you there. I'm going to catch up with Nikko Locastro as he's congratulating his brother. I'm going to catch up with Nikko to see what he thinks of the round. I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and that was my video blog. Nikko, we just got done, and you were showing me your hand. You were grinding it out there.
Yeah, I'm working hard for every stroke out here. 27 holes, you got to earn them on this course.
You do. So 2 rounds of 27 out here, 54 for the weekend. How much golf have you been doing during the quarantine? Have you been kind of
I've played quite a bit of disc golf almost every day. If it's nice outside, I make sure I'm getting at least 18 holes in. Came to this tournament with my brother Jeremiah Dwyer. We played at least 2.5 rounds, throwing multiple shots, just trying to get into my mode. You know, I feel like if I play my best disc golf, I'm still capable of winning at the top level. It's been a long time, and I'm not trying to put extra pressure on myself, but you know, you guys can see the video. I feel like I left at least a handful of strokes, minimum at least 5 strokes that round that I would like to make up for during the next 27 holes.
Yeah, well, you were out there grinding, as you said, a long, grueling round. It only came in at about 3.5 hours, surprisingly, but 27 holes, that's a lot of golf.
Fairly for that many people on the course, really. What's up, Gavin?
So some pretty solid play out there. Anything you're looking forward to in round number 2? It looks like with the birdies that just happened moments ago, we're going to find you on that chase card. Any game plan for round 2?
I believe that I can shoot a better score, and that's the game plan for tomorrow. I'm just going to keep my mindset. I believe in my abilities, and I'm stoked to be here with my brother Jeremiah, and we're trying to both make a run in this tournament. He shot a 4 under today.
I was just going to ask.
And he had a tough finish too, so I feel like he could have even made lead card. So I'm looking forward to watching my bro get into the sport a lot more, and I'm sure you guys will be seeing his name up there at the top pretty soon.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit scary if we got both of you guys contending at a tournament. That should be a good battle.
It's already happening right now. I think we will be going 1-2 in some tournaments.
I'd love to see it. All
eventually.
Right. For Nikko, Jeremiah on the camera, wish him best of luck. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, thanks to all the sponsors, and we'll see you guys during the second round out here at the Blue Ribbon Pines and the Minnesota Majestic.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Terry.
Perfect.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.